If you are a business, whether you're an established business or a startup, and you're looking for a business line of credit, and for some reason you do not want to go to a bank or to a credit union, or you can't qualify for a bank line of credit or credit union line of credit, I have good news for you. We have alternative lenders. So those lenders are very flexible. They have streamlined line of credit applications, and they'll take care of you with no problem. And they will actually will qualify you up to $250,000. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. So the first alternative lender you might want to consider here is OnDeck. And with OnDeck, the cool thing is that you can actually get a line of credit for your business for up to $250,000. And usually you qualify for anything from $5,000 to $250,000. And the cool thing about OnDeck is that they tend to actually release funds real fast. As soon as you're approved, they basically will release your funds within 12 hours. And in terms of the minimum credit score that you need to qualify, you can actually do this either on an EIN only basis, or if you want to use your social security number to qualify, the minimum they want to have is 575. Okay, what we love about OnDeck also is that they basically they will assign a bank like a loan rep to you. Now, loan rep will work with you to make sure that you can structure your line of credit application in such a way that you get approved real fast the first time around, but also in terms of renewals, those renewals are really even faster and easier for you. And OnDeck, they have been doing this since 2016, so they weren't born yesterday. Okay, so they have had some experience in the industry, and this is really good. Again, what we love about OnDeck is that they do not place any restrictions on the use of loan proceeds or line of credit proceeds. Then they don't place any restrictions on the type of business you need to have to qualify for their line of credit, because some lenders want you to be an LLC, or if you are an S corporation, they ask for additional documentation. OnDeck doesn't have that. So whether you are an S corporation, an LLC, a C corporation, an LLP, or whatever, you can qualify for an OnDeck business line of credit with no problem. So remember, the delta here is $5,000 all the way to $250,000, and you have same day funding, and you have low minimum credit score requirements. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Another alternative lender that actually tends to extend up to $250,000 in terms of business line of credit for any type of business is Lendio. Now, what we love about Lendio is that Lendio is not a direct lender, but Lendio is more like a lender marketplace, which means what? It means you have more opportunities for approval. Lendio has about 70 to 75 lenders in its network. So if you're looking for a business line of credit from an alternative lender, you will love Lendio. And Lendio actually has a streamlined application process that actually tends to get approval real fast. Obviously, the approval doesn't come from Lendio. The approval comes from a Lendio lender partner, and the speed of approval will depend upon that partner. But we've seen on our research, your company tends to be qualified within 12 to 36 hours, so like 1 to 3 days, 1 to 2 days, and 1.5 days. It really depends upon the lender who is interested in your loan application or your line of credit application, and also your company's financials. Okay. With Lendio, you can actually be approved potentially for a line of credit that goes all the way to $5 million. Although in practice, we've seen that the average line of credit approval for businesses hovers around $250,000. So it's still good anyway, okay? If you were to ask me, and you have an APR that goes from 3% all the way to 26%. And Lendio is pretty flexible in terms of the minimum credit score they're asking. They're asking for like 560, 575. So this is really good. So Lendio, overall, when you think about Lendio, I want you to think about flexibility. I want you to think about efficiency. I want you to think about speed in funding, because they tend to fund real quick. And remember, you have access to several lenders, and so you have a choice. You will have a choice up to 75 lenders who are potentially bidding on your business line of credit application. So this is really cool. And one thing we love is that Lendio, if you have any questions, you can contact Lendio at any time, not a problem. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about alternative lenders that give business lines of credit up to $250,000. The lender that I want to share with you is BlueVine. And BlueVine actually does a great job in terms of being an alternative lender / online lender that will take care of you in terms of business line of credit up to $250,000. The BlueVine wants you to really have a FICO score, a minimum FICO score of 575 to 600. And they tend to actually ask for more operational history. So they want you to be in business for a while. And basically what we love about BlueVine is that BlueVine will work with you in terms of giving you not only the initial approval, but also the renewals. And recently, BlueVine has started actually offering business checking accounts. So if you want to boost your chances of being approved for a BlueVine business line of credit, it really helps at least in our view, based on our research, to actually have a business checking account with BlueVine. If you have that, you are basically increasing your chances. Okay. Now, I'm not saying there is a direct correlation between the business checking account and the business line of credit approval from BlueVine, but there is a strong chance. So this is really good. The only thing I need to say here is that if you are in North Dakota, if you are in South Dakota, if you are in Puerto Rico, if you are in U.S. territories, you do not qualify for a BlueVine business line of credit because the company doesn't actually serve clients in those geographies. So again, just kind of recap here, you have lines of credit all the way to $250,000, and you must be in operation for at least 2 years to qualify. And if you have a low credit score, this is not a disqualifier. This is actually, this is fine. Okay, it's okay. And BlueVine wants you to have a monthly revenue requirement to meet a monthly revenue requirement. So we're talking here about $3,000 to $8,000 a month in terms of revenue, not income. This is gross revenue. So it's one of those things you have to see which one works for you. But overall, BlueVine is a great company. What we love about BlueVine also is that they have a diverse area of credit programs for businesses. They have what they call the Flex 6. They have the Flex 12. This is really cool. And you can choose which one fits your cash inflows and cash outflows. Now, if you want to get the business line of credit without pledging business assets, the maximum is $150,000. Okay, $150. Now, if you want more, let's say you want $250, then you need to really collateralize the transaction, at least part of it. You need to actually pledge assets above $150,000 or anything in between. And the APR is kind of low though. With this lender, Fundbox, you have up to from 4% all the way to 12%. So this is really cool. We love the fact that with Fundbox, you have flexibility. So you have, first of all, Fundbox has built over the last 3 years an AI-powered business lending program and business lending platform also that speeds up the application, decision-making, and funding process. And that platform basically offers decision within 3 minutes and funds as soon as the next business day. So this is really cool. And if you are a prospective borrower, you have 2 business financing options through Fundbox. You have so as a business owner, you can apply for a revolving business line of credit up to $150,000 with the repayment terms of 12 or 24 weeks. And your available credit goes back up as you repay your line of credit. This is really cool. And so when we talk about Fundbox, we love the speed. We love the speed of execution, the speed of fund disbursement and release. This is really, really good. Sorry about that. And the thing is, you have to also think about the fact that you are able to receive a decisions within 3 minutes. This is really cool. And so Fundbox is not really asking for a lot of things. Like, for instance, credit score, they're asking for 575 all the way to 600. And you also have the possibility to actually apply for this business line of credit on an EIN basis. So you do not have to jeopardize your personal credit to qualify for a Fundbox business line of credit. So this is really fantastic. Also, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about alternative lenders that give businesses lines of credit. We're speaking about up to $250,000. And the next one I want to share with you is called Bakkt. So Bakkt is actually a great company to actually explore when it comes to business line of credit. And so back is actually great for high loan limits in terms of business lines of credit. And so the amount we're talking about here, we're talking about $5,000 all the way to $750,000. Okay, but you have to repay that amount like within a short window. It's like a maximum 1 year. So the thing is, does it work with your liquidity strategy, with your cash inflows and cash outflows? It's one of those things you need to find out what really works for you, right? But the APR is like around 30%. So is it high? Yeah, we think it's high. But hey, listen, you need the cash. Why not? Why not try this? Okay, and you get funded ASAP. You get funded within 1 business day. So this is really cool. So when you think about Backed, I want you to think about the fact that you are able to talk to a lender that offers high unsecured loan amounts, relaxed eligibility requirements, and no personal guarantee required. They're not asking you for any PG, right? But you might actually have to repay the loan a little faster. What about the cons here? You have weekly repayments required. You have a short repayment period of 6 or 12 months. Think about it. This could be a little disruptive to your cash flow strategy. And you also have Backed really charges a high origination fee that revolves around 3% to 6%. So it's one of those things where if you were to go with Backed, you really want to explore all your other options to see which one is really cheaper before you go with Backed, because Backed, they're fast too. Yeah, don't get me wrong. They're fast, but they're expensive. They're expensive as well. So you have to make sure that whatever credit offer you get from Backed really is the best in your situation. But in terms of credit score, they're asking you for 575 to 600. Okay, and they want you to be in business at least for 1 year. So 1 year, 15 months, 18 months, you are good to go. Let me give you a few pro tips here. So if you're looking for an alternative lender that gives business lines of credit up to $250,000, you really want to compare business line of credit. You want to compare those lines of credit and make sure that you are making the right choices. Okay. And the thing is that whenever you are looking for like an alternative lender, always think about pre-qualification. Pre-qual. Seek pre-qualification if possible, because that way you can see your chances without jeopardizing your personal FICO score. You also want to consider if that's the first step, the repayment terms and flexibility. We're talking about business line of credit, so basically there are specific rules and regulations that revolve around repayment. So the things like timing, things like amount that you have to pay, things like whether you have to pay at all during the draw period, or you have to pay at the end of the term. So those are things you need to think about. Also, I want to talk to you about additional fees, right? You want to look out for additional fees. I mean, this is one of those things where some lenders will slap you with additional fees, and you want to make sure that you are in the right situation here. And also think about customer support. Are you comfortable with your customer support? Is this something that you really could see yourself actually dealing with on a single basis? And also in terms of their offers, like, whether you talk to OnDeck, Lendio, BlueVine, Fundbox, or Backed, what is the line of credit typology they have? What kind of business line of credit do they have there? Okay, do they have secured business lines of credit, unsecured business lines of credit, and which one should you go for? Because see, the thing is, some people believe that a secured business line of credit is really a bad idea. No, it really depends upon the cash you have on hand and your cost of opportunity, when it comes to using that cash. And maybe sometimes it's just better to use the cash to collateralize a business loan or business line of credit than actually using the cash to do something else. It's one of those things where you have to decide on a case-by-case basis to see what really works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you get a business line of credit that helps you fill in gaps in cash flow and make sure that you are able, not like you're not over borrowing because you have extra cash you can tap into. Now, let me give you an approach before we close to this conversation here. So the thing here is that when you actually are comparing and contrasting alternative lenders and their business lines of credit, you need to really understand that, before you choose a business line of credit from an alternative lender, beyond the reputation, you have to go back to the fundamentals. The fundamentals are eligibility requirements. Okay. And the thing is, while requirements can vary by lender, most minimum requirements for your business is credit score, length of time in business, and annual company revenue are pretty much the same. Okay, so you want to make sure that you check that. So, because traditional banks like credit unions and traditional lenders, rather, like banks and credit unions, don't have the same requirements as alternative lenders. So it's one of those things where you got to ask yourself, do I even qualify it? What are the requirements here? And also think about the line of credit amounts that they are willing to give you, because you are applying at Lendio or OnDeck or BlueVine or Fundbox. Basically, how much are they willing to give you? And what is the funding speed? How quickly can you get the cash? Because you don't want to spend you don't want to wait forever to get your cash once you are approved. So it's one of those things where you have to be comfortable about how much time the lender takes to actually disperse the funds to you, and also pay attention to the repayment terms and the fees also, because again, when we talk about business line of credit, we're talking about a de facto sort of business relationship. So the way folks get back to you must be really fast. Otherwise, you're gonna lose time and waste time anyway. And another thing I want to say here is that you want to always see whether or not you're better off actually, let's say, applying for a business line of credit at a bank or at a credit union. Because if you're not really getting what you want from an alternative lender, are you going to keep trying? No. So at some point, you can try to say, you know what? I've tried OnDeck, I've tried Lendio, I've tried BlueVine, I've tried Fundbox, I've tried them all, and I didn't get what I needed. So I'm just gonna try with the regular bank, with the traditional bank, and just expose to them all the needs I have, and see if I can be approved. And who knows, you could be approved. Everything is possible. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was talking to you about alternative lenders that give business lines of credit to businesses up to $250,000. So we talked about Lendio, BlueVine, Fundbox, Backed, and I also talked to you about OnDeck. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.